going on, everybody? Andrew here, and today I wanted to quickly highlight the guitar style of Steve Lukather. Luke is a monster guitar player who's found success both as a singer, songwriter, and guitarist of the band Toto, but also as an in-demand session player, playing pop solos and rhythm tracks on countless hit records. He's been the subject of some recent YouTube press, and it really reminded me of just how great a guitar player he is. I wanted to focus specifically on his Les Paul playing from the late 70s and early 80s that's a little more like blues rock inspired than some of his later stuff. I've made up a quick Boz Scaggs style shuffle backing track and improvised a lead using a handful of techniques that I'll break down in detail. Like I said, for this I'll be using a stop tail guitar, so no tremolo stuff. I really just wanted to focus on techniques that just involve the hands. I use light strings on this guitar. They're a Diodario 9-46 set, and it really helps me with the big bends and vibrato. For the tones, again, I'm keeping it super simple, and I'm plugging my guitar straight into my interface into Logic and using the Arena Ready guitar preset. It consists of basically a noise gate, a treble booster into a dark Marshall style amp, which gives you like a vintage lead kind of sound, and then also it has some post effects like a tape delay, a little bit of compression, and some reverb. If you don't have Logic, you can try to approximate this tone, and the most important thing is to have a good amount of mid-focused gain with high harmonic content, so you can really get the harmonics to jump off and the guitar plays itself a little easier for some of this complicated lead stuff. Figure 1 is a bebop style lick that has a big overbent top note and then walks down to the root, which in this case is the A on the G string 14th fret. This is a perfect phrase length for a track like this. I like to keep my phrases short and succinct and chain them together while having some like breath points in between, as you can hear. I think that this almost mimics what like a sax player would do, and I think it just sounds really cool. If you're not making faces, you're not doing it right. And it doesn't really matter where you bend that first note. It could be a whole step bend. It could be like a step and a half bend. Overbends, over vibrato, little bit of flash. You know, this is, I think, what Luke had penned and why he got called on so many sessions, because he laid down these tracks. The tracks themselves did well, and he just kept getting called back to lay down more solos. Great deal. Figure 2 uses slide-ins, like a descending slide-in, to tie together what would normally be a very simple pentatonic run. So this is the basic lick. Very simple pentatonic descending on one string, but you're gonna slide into it. Doesn't really matter too much where you start with the slide, but give yourself like 4 frets above, at least 4 or 5 frets to give yourself enough of a slide. You know, the more the better, and to try to focus on the rhythm and the timing of those actual notes landing with the music, and the rest of the slides just kind of lead into it. It fills in the gap. I love this technique because it almost mimics a whammy bar on a stop tail guitar. I love doing stuff like that. Now, Steve Lukather did the same kind of lick once he started using his whammy-equipped guitars, like his Valley Arts and his Luke Ernie Ball models, but he definitely did this on his LP too, and it's a really cool technique to have in your back pocket. Next is tapped harmonics. This is something that I also saw Eddie Van Halen doing a lot, and I know that they were friends, and this is the same kind of technique that he used a lot and did a lot of different things with it, but the easy way to think about it is just anywhere you are, 12 frets up, you tap on the fret, and you don't tap these harmonics right on the middle of the fret. You want to actually tap on the fret wire. And the string makes contact with that metal. That's what makes that sound. That's what brings the harmonic out of the note. And then once you bring your hand back up, the note keeps ringing out. You have to keep this finger down. And to put a little vibrato on it, now you have a harmonic vibrato. Now you combine this with the other techniques, and now you're starting to get into a flow. Another huge rock-inspired aspect of Luke's playing are just fast pentatonic runs, usually descending and just straight down the pentatonic scale. It's really easy in theory, but the chops that he had and the way that he could go from top to bottom really, really fast, it sounds awesome. And you can hear every single note ring out. You want to make sure you practice it slow and get every single note to sound good and then build it up to speed. If you blow through it, it's gonna sound like mush. But if you go slow and someone can actually pick out every single note on the way down, that's, in my opinion, what sounds cool. Another cool technique I see him do all the time is to hit a bend, while holding the bend, tap in some higher notes, release to that bend, and then bend down and let it go. This is another thing that Eddie Van Halen did all the time, and I have to wonder who was copying who. You know, Eddie Van Halen's famously quoted as a reporter asking him what it felt like to be the greatest guitar player in the world, and his response being, "I don't know, ask Steve Lukather." So that's like the biggest compliment you can get. This is another one that you're gonna just need to practice slow and really focus on pressing in firm with this finger. Just keep in mind, you're really just tapping in those top notes. They're just coming in for a second, and what's really important is making sure that you don't lose track of what's happening with your left hand, because you're gonna want to pull that off and continue whatever you're doing with your left hand. Steve Lukather is one of my favorite guitar players because he can play a lot of different styles, but for this video, I really wanted to keep it simple and just keep it with a stop tail guitar on the back pickup. You could do this if you have a Telecaster, you could do this if you have a Les Paul Jr. If you enjoyed the lesson, let me know by hitting the like button, and drop a comment if you have any ideas, anything you want to share, or any interest in me doing any other tutorials, either artist-based or maybe a second Steve Lukather tutorial. Hope to catch you in another video. Until then, take it easy.